See her drink alcohol?
No.
Did you ever see her use any sort of illegal drugs?
No.
At some point during your, I guess I should ask you, at some point did your friendship then kind of turn also into some sort of business relationship?
Yes.
With Ms. McInday?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And what was it that Ms. McInday asked you to do?
As far as business?
As business related, yeah.
We were, at that time, I was basically helping her with the YouTube channel, just doing some social media stuff and just kind of growing her relevance online, essentially. So.
Do you recall when it was that you began to grow her social media relevance?
It was in January as well.
Of 2014?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Say yes.
Yes.
Sorry. So hard
No,
to transcribe,
you're
so
fine.
I'm going to ask you to. Thank you.
All righty. So how was it that you went about then assisting Ms. McInday in growing her social media relevance?
We set up a YouTube channel, which I don't think we ever even put anything on it at that point, but we set up a Google Plus profile for her as well. She already had all of her other social media stuff kind of set up at that point, so.
Okay. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what Google Plus is?
Yeah, Google Plus is or was kind of Google's answer to Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, so it's kind of a social media blogging platform.
Okay. And can individuals who are associated with Google Plus, can they then post pictures or comments and those types of things?
Yes.
Okay. And so you helped her set up a Google Plus account?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did Ms. McInday ever sync her Google Plus account that you were assisting her with her phone?
Yes, Google, if you have an Android phone, it basically forces you to sync all Google products across the board. So she had an Android phone. She had to sign in with the email that was also attached to her Google Plus profile.
Okay. And so when you were assisting her with her Google Plus or her social media generally, did you have access to her photos on her phone?
Yes.
The photo, did you ever post anything on behalf of Ms. McInday?
Yes.
And do you know about how many posts you might have made during your...
Maybe 30 or 40. The platform was dying a little bit, so it kind of just fell off as well. Like as for Google Plus was kind of not,
Okay. So you made 30 or 40 posts. During that time, did you ever go through photos that were on her phone then?
Yes.
While you were looking at through photos, how was it that you would decide which photos to post?
Whatever she had posted on another social network, usually I kind of mimicked what she was already posting elsewhere. We weren't great friends at the time, so I didn't take any liberties. I just kind of, if I saw her post something on Instagram, I'd post it then on Google Plus and with the same captions and everything like that too. So.
Okay. So that would grow her social media presence by posting on a variety of different social media sites.
Yeah, they all use different social signals. It's all different relevance for the internet. Yep.
Okay. And based upon your interactions, you attempted to only post photos which she had previously posted?
Yes.
And why is it you just chose to only post those photos rather than other photos?
Primarily because I didn't want to misrepresent her. She had a vision for what she wanted to, what her brand was and all that kind of thing. And I mean, realistically, it was a pretty casual thing we were doing anyway. So I was just helping her out a little bit, and I didn't want to do something that could offend and stuff. I've worked with a lot of celebrities that you take liberties and it doesn't go well. So even if you assume, so just kept it pretty to what she was obviously okay with it.
Okay. While you were attempting to locate these photos to post, did you ever find any photos of injuries on Ms. McInday?
Yes.
And can you describe those photos for us?
There's one photo where she had a bloody nose. I was pretty sure it was broken. I think she had a bruised eye in one of them, and also she had like bruises on her arms and her back.
Did she ever have any, if you can recall, were there any photos of bruises on her legs or anything? If you don't remember, that's...
I don't remember those specifically. I remember the other ones pretty clear as day, though. So.
Okay. And did you ever post any of those online?
Absolutely not, no.
Other than photos that you saw on her, did you ever see any injuries on her as you interacted with her personally?
I'd seen bruises on her before. Christy's a pretty private person though, so I mean generally it'd be weeks at a time before I see her, so I could see the picture appear as it came through on her phone. Google Plus will tell you, hey, you have 5 new photos that synced from earlier today, and so those would pop up on the phone, and then I wouldn't hear from her for a couple of weeks or see her or anything like that, so I could kind of make the assumption that was, you know, she was hiding out a bit. But she is a private person as well. So.
All right. The photos, or sorry, not the photos. I apologize. The things that you actually witnessed, the injuries you actually witnessed on her. Can you describe any of those for us?
Yeah, I mean, it was general bruising, like it's bruises that have, as if they had been healed for a little while, kind of thing. And even then, she like really did cover up pretty well. So, but yeah, they're just, you know, like a bruise that's been there for a week or something like that. Like just pretty, it starts to lighten up pretty nicely, I guess. But her also, we were more business relationship at that point. So I honestly, you know, I had no room to really ask what they were from or anything like that in that respect. So.
Okay. You said that she would try to cover them up. How would she try to cover them up?
Just clothes and stuff like that, like a longer sleeve shirt or something. If she had a bruise like above the elbow or something.
Okay. Would she ever apply makeup on any of those?
Yes.
Did you ever actually see how any of those injuries occurred?
No.
And you've kind of already discussed this, so I want to get a little bit further into it. Did you ever then talk to Ms. McInday about these injuries?
No, I brought it up to Josh, the guy that I met her through. I brought it up to him, but I never spoke to her about them.
Okay.
We didn't have that kind of relationship at that point. So.
And Josh was the one who kind of linked you two together?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So did you spoke to Josh about some of the things that you were seeing?
Yes.
And did you ever talk to Josh about the situation then with Ms. McInday specifically? And that was a bad question, strike that please. What was it that you and Josh discussed?
As far as, I brought it up to him. I brought the pictures up to him. I asked him a couple questions, just like, hey, like this is, because when I met her, it was just her that I met when we set all that up. Mm-hmm. So it was, to me, it was a very like, I didn't know if anybody else knew that this was going on, or, you know, I obviously didn't know her well enough to talk to her or anything at that point. So yeah, I talked to him about it and showed him the pictures, asked him what he thought and if he was aware of it and things like that. And he told me that he would talk to her and that he was aware of that kind of thing, and that pretty much it seemed like pretty common knowledge at that point as well, that people knew that it was an abusive relationship. So,
are you familiar with the incident on August 8th where Ms. McInday was in the hospital for several days?
yes.
Okay. At that time, were you still assisting her with her social media presence?
Not so much. Yes and no. But at that point, her and I had just become friends. So we spoke a lot. So I've become close with her and her family. So.
Okay. After the August 8th date, did you ever attempt to go back in through this Google Plus account to access any of those photos?
Yes.
Were you successful in retrieving any of those
No.
photos? Why not?
When John took her phone that night, she had to get a new phone because of everything and all that stuff. So when she synced that new phone, Google doesn't just sync forever and leave it all in the cloud unless you told it to. So basically what happened is it unsynced a lot of the things that were in the past on her phone. Also, I think she had moved a lot of those photos to hidden folders anyway inside of the phone, so I don't think they ever was.
Objection, basis of knowledge, lacks foundation, rules described.
I'll ask further questions, Your Honor.
So way of foundation.
I shall. When you had access to the photos on Ms. McInday's phone, did she store them in various folders?
Yes.
Okay. And were the photos of the injuries ever stored in any specific folder?
Yes.
Okay. Were they all kind of grouped together in one folder?
Yes,
Okay. And if you recall, let us know, and if you don't, that's fine, but do you recall the name of the folder under which these injuries were?
yes.
What was that folder
It's
called?
private.
Private.
Yeah, it was a hidden folder. It's a generic Google term with hidden folders that exist, so.
Okay. So,
So the objection is overruled then.
thank you, Your Honor. So then jumping back to where we were originally, where after August 8th and you were attempting to locate these photos again, you said that Ms. McInday had purchased a new phone and synced that new phone with the Google Plus account.
Yes,
Okay. So at that time then you were unable to access any of the photos on her prior phone,
yes,
including that private folder.
yes.
All right. Court's adjourned. Just one more question, please. Looking back now, hindsight, do you wish you would have done more on behalf of Ms. Mack and those injuries?
Absolutely.
I'll pass the witness.
Ross? 1 second, please, Ron. Sure.
Confusion, Your Honor.
Mr. Roquemore, correct?
Yes.
Can you describe what your relationship was like with Ms. McInday?
First, we were business acquaintances, more or less, and worked on that front. And then as time went on, we just became very good friends. So she's more or less a sibling to me.
And you met her through Josh, correct?
Yes.
And Josh is a cousin of McIndy's?
Josh Ibarra?
Yes.
I'm not sure what his relationship is to Christy.
But you met through him, correct?
Yes.
Now, you said you own a company, correct?
Yes.
And how many companies do you own?
A couple. 2.
What's the name of them?
I've got dementia.
Do you want me to make my proffer on the record?
Come on up.
Without stating the name of the companies, we'll just call them 1 and 2. What is it that company number 1 does?
With social media interaction, digital marketing, internet traffic, generally,
And what does company number 2 do?
stickers. And I don't, that company doesn't exist anymore.
Is that all it did, the stickers
Stickers, wraps, yeah, vinyl.
and wraps?
Mhm.
And who else had an interest in that company?
Josh did and Christy did as well.
With the 3 of you, right?
Yeah, Christy wasn't technically a partner in the company. She shared profits from revenue pulled by the stickers. So we had sold the company. She wouldn't have gotten anything. It was just more of a revenue share.
And what type of work do you still do for Christy?
I don't.
You don't do any of her social media anymore?
Mm-mm.
No marketing?
I work with, well, I'm technically don't have a part of it anymore. Originally, we did Facebook stuff with her a while ago. This is probably like 2 years ago. We put some stuff together for that as well. And another company's taken that over since. I'm still familiar with them, but I don't actually do any of the work or have anything to do with it realistically. Just kind of a pass-through because I'm still friends with Christy, so if she needs to be gotten a hold of, I can contact her.
And isn't it true that as things go on, you continue to do this type of work for her, right? I mean, she'll ask you to do certain things, whether it be Facebook, marketing,
It's
social
probably
media.
been over a year since I've had any involvement in any of that.
Now, you say you met John in January, correct?
Yes,
And that was January of 2014?
yes,
And you stated that that was at Joshua's house, correct?
yes.
And how many times have you seen John over at Joshua's house?
2 or 3 probably. I didn't go to Josh's house that much either though. Josh came to my house primarily because he's got kids, so he'd come over and hang out and watch a movie or something.
And do you recall being at Joshua's house for his birthday in March of
Yes.
2014? And you recall seeing the defendant there, correct?
Yes,
Do you recall seeing Christy there?
yes.
Do you recall what the demeanor and conduct was like between Christy and John that night?
Normal. There wasn't any, the interaction was pretty standard. I mean, it was a small group of people, I think. Yeah, it was just all very normal. It was very social and mixer, so.
Your Honor, permission to publish. Sorry, Mike, this next to it.
Go ahead, what number?
208 states.
Okay.
This was March of 2014, correct?
I don't recall what they were wearing, but I would assume.
Does that help refresh your memory? This was a birthday party for Joshua Barra. There was a magician there. Do you recall that?
Yes, yes.
That was this day, right?
Yes, as to my knowledge, yes.
Now I'd like to discuss the phone. You said that Christy had a hidden folder. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that you were able to access that through.
As the photos came in, I was able to access it. I could see that the the folder existed, yes.
And after August 8th, did Christy ask you to try to find some photos?
Yes,
And that's what prompted you to go look?
yes. At that time, yes.
And upon your discovery of those photos, what did you do with it?
I didn't discover those photos at that point. I had seen them before that day. At that point, the phone had unsynced.
When did you discover the photo?
As they came in, like as she took the photos, they would come into Google Plus on the backups of Google or photos.google.com.
Did you ever preserve these photos?
No,
Did you ever send these photos to anybody?
no.
Nothing further on.
Okay. Read the record.
Mr. Sue, can you leave that up there, please? That photo. Thank you, I appreciate that.
So exhibit 208 is still.
Yes. Do you know the exact date of this photo?
No.
I'll pass Lewis.
Anything further on cross?
Nothing further from me.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Okay. Next.
William Spees.
Do me a favor, step up into the box, place your items down, remain standing. Raise your right hand, face that gentleman right there for me.
Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the true self God.
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Please state your complete name, spelling both your first and last name correctly.
My name is William Spees, William, W-I-L-L-I-A-M, and Spees, S-P-E-A-S.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Spees, how are you employed?
I'm a senior crime scene analyst with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department CSI section.
How long have you been employed there?
I've been employed with the police department for just over 20 years and just over 17 years as a crime scene analyst.
Okay. What were you doing for that, I guess, that 3 years where you weren't in crime scene?
I worked in criminalistics in the photo lab.
Prior to joining the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, did you ever work with photos?
26 years in the Air Force, and I worked in some form of photography there.
Prior to joining the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, did you do any training or education?
I have degrees in photography and as a medical laboratory technician, and also in criminal justice.
As a crime scene analyst, how many different cases have you responded to?
Over 4,000.
And what are your duties and responsibilities as a crime scene analyst?
We go out there, we work with the detectives or police officers on the scene. Our main job is to document. We'll do that with notes, we'll do that with photographs. We also recover and protect evidence. We'll process for fingerprints.
I want to draw your attention to August 8th of 2014 in the earlier morning hours. You recall that day?
I do.
Okay. Were you assigned to an event number or a case, event number 140808-0491?
I was.
And what was, when you first got dispatched to this call, where did you go?
I went to, I believe it was Sunrise Hospital.
Okay. And do you recall what time it was that you received that phone call?
If I could refer to my notes, I could give you an exact time.
Would that refresh your recollection?
Yes, I would.
Your Honor, I'd ask him to be allowed to refer to his report.
Go ahead.
I'm handing you some notes. Let me know if that refreshes your recollection.
Yes, it does.
Can I, once you refreshes your recollection, let me know, and then I'll ask you more questions. As to when you were called out.
Yes.
Were you called out, well, what time were you called out?
I was called out a little after 4.
All right. At 4:33?
Yes,
And you recall arriving at Sunrise Hospital at around 5:06?
I do.
And when you first arrived at the hospital, what did you do?
I met with officers at the scene, got some information on victim name, and then I took photographs.
When you first got called out, how many victims were you asked to photograph?
1.
And was it a male or a female?
Female.
What was the female's name, if you recall? Was it Miss Christine McInday?
Yes, it was.
All right. You said you took various photos?
I did.
All right. Your Honor, I believe many of these have been admitted, but just for ease sake, the state moves for the admission of states 101 through 116. I don't believe there's any
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, so all of them are now admitted to the extent they want.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm showing you 101. Who is this individual?
That is the female.
Ms. McInday.
Yes, it is.
And was that the first photo you took of her when you arrived on scene?
I don't believe I took that photo. That may have been one of the ones taken before I got there.
Oh, okay. It's a fair and accurate depiction of the way she looked, though?
Yes, it is.
Showing you 102. Do you recall taking this photo?
That may have been one of my photos, yes.
And is that Ms. McInday in a hospital bed?
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna skip some of these here. What was the purpose of taking photos of Ms. McInday at the hospital?
Just for identification and to document her visible injuries.
Showing you Exhibit 106. Do you recognize this?
This is a photo of her in her mouth showing her puffed up lip
Okay.
and blood on her face.
All right. Were her eyes swollen shut?
Yes.
Okay. Was she able to communicate with you while you were taking photos of her?
No, she did not communicate with me.
Okay. So as you're taking photos, how was it that you knew where the injuries were?
Just talked to the nurses.
Okay. And was it also obvious by your own personal observations?
Yes.
So the photos you took of Ms. McInday were ones that you could see or ones that you were informed of by the nurses?
I did the ones around the face that were obvious, and then I also had them adjust a sheet so I could take photos of some bruises on her leg.
All right, I'm showing you Exhibit 107. Is this a photo of her leg?
Yes.
And did you take up close-up photos of that leg also?
Yes, I did.
I'm showing you Exhibit 109. Do you recognize this?
Yes, that's just my scale in front of her mouth, just to kind of show, give a scale of their injuries.
Okay. And how do you know this is your scale?
It has my name and P number on it.
All right, and I'm assuming that's over here.
Yes,
All right.
And your P number is?
my personnel number.
Thank you, Your Honor. Showing you Exhibit 110. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at her mouth, and we can see one tooth there, and it appears another tooth that's missing.
Showing you Exhibit 111. What are we looking at?
It's like a laceration or a scrape that's on the side of her head.
Okay. And again, you put your scale up there.
Yes, I did.
Prior to taking these photos, were you briefed by any police officers at the
Yes.
hospital? Okay. And you believe that individual that briefed you was Officer Shepard / Shoemaker?
Yes.
All right. All these photos that you took were photographs that you could either see or were informed about.
Yes.
Did you ever attempt to manipulate her or move her to take more photos?
Other than having the sheet moved and everything so I could do her leg, no. This is, she was pretty messed up.
After, do you recall leaving the hospital at around 5:30?
I did.
And where was it that you went next?
I went to a resident, I think it was on Pueblo Way.
Okay. And what was your purpose in going to that residence?
To photograph and document the scene that was inside the house.
And did you believe that that scene or that address was associated with the injuries that you took of Ms. McInday at the hospital?
Yes.
I'm showing you, or Your Honor, I would move for the admission of State's proposed Exhibit 1. I don't believe that one's been admitted yet. I don't
Any
believe it's
objection?
admitted.
No objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted.
Showing you Exhibit 1. What are we looking at here?
That's a consent to search card.
And why are consent to search cards important?
It's just, that gives us the right to go inside the house and look for and document evidence inside of private residence.
All right. The writing over here in the bottom right-hand corner, can you read that for us?
It's an M Truex.
And you believe this to be a personnel or P number?
That is a P number, yes. Personnel number.
And would this have been the individual then that would have assisted in obtaining this consent to search
Yes.
card?
Yes, would have witnessed it, yes.
When you first arrived on scene, did you speak to any other individuals?
Yeah, I spoke with Sergeant Debbie Love.
And she was on scene at the 3496 Pueblo Way?
Yes.
And what was your purpose in chatting with her?
Just to see what was the scene there, and, and get any information I could that related to that area.
Okay. And why is that important to what you do?
Just so I don't come in and start walking on evidence, or in case something was found, just to know that we had the permission to go in to check. Also, I know that there was a couple of pit bulls that were removed from that. We were waiting for them to be removed before we went in.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move for the admission of state's proposed exhibits 2 through 7.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
You're admitted.
All right. I'm showing you exhibit 2. What are we looking at here?
That's the exterior of the house, the front of the house.
And that's the way the house looked when you arrived at or after 5:30 in the morning?
Yes, it is.
I'm showing you, after actually taking that photo, did you take any photos from the outside of the home?
Yes, I did.
What did you take photos of, if you can recall?
There was some water bottles, a receipt. There was some stuff on the gutter and on the sidewalk.
All right. In relation to Exhibit 2, which is currently on the screen, I'm going to show you now Exhibit 3, which has been admitted, and then I'll have a question regarding both of those, okay?
Okay.
This is Exhibit 3. What are we looking at on this?
We have a receipt, we have a couple water bottles, and we have it's a finger shoe.
A finger shoe. All right, so it has individual spots for your toes?
Toes, yes.
Okay. Can you point to those items or circle where those items are located?
Okay, we got water bottle, shoe, looks like a receipt.
All right.
Up here.
So now in relation to photograph 3, can you identify it on photograph 2 where those were, if you can see?
It's a little dark right there.
Let me zoom in. Sorry, I'm not helping you, am I? There we go. Let me zoom in a little bit to assist you here, then.
Okay, it looks like right here.
Okay. Do you recall where the front door of this residence was? Can you see it on this
The front
photo?
door was right in this area.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to show you now what's been marked as Exhibit 4. Is that just a close-up of the items you were able to retrieve?
Yes,
And I'll zoom back out here. There's a receipt, 2 water bottles, and a finger shoe.
yes,
All right. Did you take close-ups of the receipt itself?
I did.
Showing you Exhibit 5, which has previously been admitted. Is this a copy of, or a photo of the receipt that you obtained?
Yes, it is.
All right. Can you read that for us? And I can zoom in a little further if you can't. But where was this receipt from?
It's from Hesperia, California.
And was it from a Burger King?
Yes, it was.
And can you see a time that this receipt was, printed?
It's a little after 11 p.m. on the 7th.
August 7th of 2014?
Yes.
You said that you were waiting for animal control to arrive before you went inside?
That and for the consent to search card.
Okay. And once those were received, did you enter the home?
I did.
Okay. I apologize, I got ahead of myself. Those 2 water bottles and the finger toe shoe.
Yes.
Did you impound all that?
I did that as well as the receipt.
As well as the receipt. So those 4 items were all impounded?
Yes, they were.
Okay. With the water bottles themselves, did you swab for any potential DNA evidence?
I did.
And where did you swab those water bottles?
At the opening at the top.
Okay. Now, in relation to those water bottles also, did you attempt to recover fingerprints?
I did. I chemically processed them and checked them with a laser.
And were you able to identify or locate any latent fingerprints?
I did. It was negative for fingerprints or any usable fingerprints.
Okay. Nonetheless, you impounded all 4 of those items?
I did.
Okay. At some point then, were the pit bulls restrained or taken out?
They were taken away. Yes.
Taken away. Okay. The state would move for the admission of state's proposed exhibits 8 through 11. I don't believe there's any objection.
So 8 through 11 are admitted.
Thank you. What are we looking at here?
That's inside the residence.
Okay. Do you know in relation to where this was taken, as in where the front door was?
It looks like that's coming in from the front door.
Okay. I'm showing you Exhibit 10. What are we looking at here?
That is the kitchen. I'm not sure that I took this photo.
Okay. All right. Can you, in this photo, does it appear to at least represent the way the house looked on August 8th of 2014?
Yes, it does.
All right. And is this, can you point to us where the opening of the door is? Or, sorry, the entry door is?
Right.
Thank you. Showing you Exhibit 11. Do you recognize this photo?
This is in the kitchen. Most of my photos inside the house were in the bedroom area.
Okay. So you're not 100% sure whether you took these photos, but does it appear to be a fair and accurate representation?
Yes, it does.
All right. You said you took most of the photos, or most of your work was done in the bedroom.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would move for the admission if they haven't previously been admitted. Exhibits 19 through 43, I believe there's no objection.
Excuse me, they're in the minute.
I'm showing you Exhibit 19. Is this a photograph that you took?
Yes, it is.
All right. Can you, before we get too far into this, can you describe the bedroom generally for us?
It was like in a three-tiered area. It had the master sleeping area, then it went up to a couple steps to like a vanity area, and up farther, I believe it was a closet area at the top.
Okay, so there were kind of three tiers to the bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. In Exhibit 19, what are we looking at?
Okay, this is the sleeping area.
Okay, and can you tell us what this door would lead to?
That is the main entryway into the bedroom.
Okay. And this is the way it looked on August 8th of 2014?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Showing you Exhibit 21. Is this the other side of the bedroom?
Yes, it's just another angle. You can see the bed on this side, and it's just slightly moving over.
Okay. Exhibit 22. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes, this is another photograph that I took.
Okay. Pointing your direction down here towards the bottom of the photo, it appears to be an item, a white clothing article. Do you recognize this?
That's exactly what it was. It was like a white shirt that was down there with apparent blood on it.
Okay, we'll get back to that in one moment. Showing you Exhibit 24. Do you recognize this?
That's another angle, and that's showing the slider that goes out to the backyard.
Okay. Was this door open when you went into that room?
Well, it's open there, so if it would have been open there, I would not have closed it. It would have been just like that.
You didn't disturb anything before
I did
you
not
went in?
disturb it.
Okay. And would this photo be taken from generally the front entry of the bedroom?
Yes, and it's just another photo as I'm panning around that area,
Okay. And what's the purpose of panning around that area?
just to give overall views.
Okay. We talked briefly about that white clothing item. Exhibit 29, is that a close-up of that?
Yes, it is.
And did you take various photos of that?
I did.
Showing you Exhibit 31. What are we looking at here?
It's a white T-shirt.
And did you stretch this out or lay it out in this fashion for photography
I
purposes?
did after I had taken the photo of the way it was when I saw it first.
And what was the purpose in laying it out like this?
Just so it's recognizable as a T-shirt, and just to show that with the apparent blood on it.
And this will sound like a really dumb question, but can you point to some of the apparent blood stains on this?
Sure, right up here and along here.
Was there quite a bit of apparent blood on this shirt?
Yes,
And did you take a photograph of the front of that shirt, Exhibit 32?
yes.
Going back for just one moment to Exhibit 22. This, I guess, indentation in the drywall, that was there before you arrived, correct?
Yes, it was there when I arrived.
And did you take a close-up of that?
I did,
Exhibit 33, is that the photo you took?
yes.
All right. And I believe it should be sat this way, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Showing you Exhibit 35. Do you recognize this?
Yeah, that's an end table by the bed.
Okay. And this would have been on the right side of the bed or further away from the entry door?
Yes.
This item over here, and I'll zoom in for you so you can see it. Wow, maybe it's me, maybe I can't see it.
I can't see it.
Thank you very much. Showing you Defense Exhibit 568. This might be a little brighter here for us. All right. Does that help you? Can you see that a little bit more
Yes,
clearly?
it seems to be apparent blood, like right there on the corner.
Did you ever swab this particular area for that blood to preserve it?
I don't believe I did. No.
Was there any blood? Let me show you Exhibit 36. Do you recognize this?
It's a little dark. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm trying to situate it right for you there. Does it appear to be... There we go. That's much better. I think this is the way it's supposed to be. Does this appear to be down here on the bottom part of the photo here? Does that appear to be one of the end tables up against the bed in this area?
It's pretty dark, but I can't see for certain.
All right, fair enough. Going back to the Defense Exhibit 568, this item here on the end table, does that appear to be what is in Exhibit 36 down here at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. So it would appear that this photograph would be a close-up of Exhibit
That
568.
area, yes.
All right. Exhibit 38, you recognize this?
It's a broken leg on a table.
All right. And would that be the end table that we were previously talking about?
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 42. This is again the indentation. Did you ever swab this area?
I did.
Okay. And how does that process occur?
It's basically, I have a swab and I'll collect it and I'll put it in an envelope in it for possible DNA check.
Okay. And do you personally do the DNA checking yourself?
No, I do not. That goes to the forensic lab.
But you collected this item for preservation. How was it that you decided to preserve this item here?
Just because of the location and because of the indentation in the drywall.
You thought it could be significant.
From my experience, I figured it was.
All right. Your Honor, the state moves for the admission of state's proposed exhibits 44 through 60.
Any objection?
I don't believe so.
No objection, Your Honor.
They're admitted?
All right. Showing you exhibit 44, what are we looking at?
We're going up, those are steps up to the second tier,
Okay.
with steps farther up to the third tier.
So on this tier here, you described this kind of as the vanity area,
Yes.
and up back here, you described as the closet
I
area.
believe that was a closet up there.
Showing you exhibit 46. Do you recognize this?
That is a vanity area.
And then over to the right would be the closet area?
Yes.
Okay. In
Closet
exhibit
storage.
46, it appears there's a counter kind of right in the middle of the photograph there.
Yes.
What is on the counter? Are there any fixtures there?
I'm not sure if that's sink fixtures in there or not. It's a little dark.
All right. Can I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm showing you exhibit 46.
Yeah, this appears to be sink,
All right.
double sink.
And again, showing you exhibit 46. What does this stain here appear to be?
It's additional blood,
Apparent blood?
apparent blood.
All right. And did you swab this specific area?
I did.
And you preserved that in the same way you preserved the one above the indentation?
Yes, I did.
Showing you exhibit 47. What are we looking at here?
It's the same area in the vanity area. That's just the on the other side of it.
Okay, so it gives you the other angle.
Yes.
Okay. Back over in this area here on the bottom left-hand corner, do you recall whether or not this was the shower?
I believe it was. Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 50. Do you recognize this?
That's up in the vanity area, and it's just below, like, a desk.
Okay. Did you take a closer photograph of this item here?
I believe that's a knife handle. Yes, I would have.
Exhibit 51, is that a close-up of that knife handle?
Yes, it is.
Did you do anything further with this knife handle
I recovered it and impounded it into evidence.
for potential forensic analysis?
Just because it was a little out of the way being in there.
Okay. Showing you Exhibit 53. Do you recognize this?
That is still in the same area.
Okay. And these, there's kind of like, looks like some pink spots here and then some black spots. Can you describe those for us?
Those are just like hair or hair-like fibers.
Did you see anything in that home that would have had where these pink fibers could have come from?
There was a number of wigs.
And showing you Exhibit 55. Towards the bottom there, are these some of the wigs that you were able to
Yes.
locate? This item over here, what are we looking at here in the bottom right-hand corner?
It's a kitchen knife.
And was that item impounded?
Yes, it was.
Showing you Exhibit 58 next. Is this just a more close-up photograph of that knife?
Yes, it is.
And did you take any photographs of that up close, Exhibit 60?
Yes, there with a scale with my name and personnel number on it.
The state moves for the admission of state's proposed exhibits 61 through 68.
No objection, Your Honor.
They're admitted.
Exhibit 61, what are we looking at?
Okay, those are steps farther up to, looks like the closet area.
Did you take more photographs in that area?
I believe so.
Exhibit 62, what are we looking at?
That's inside that area. That's the third level.
Okay. And did you take a photograph of the left-hand side also?
I would have, yes.
Exhibit 63, is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Exhibit 64, what are we looking at?
Just a broken cabinet.
And did you take photographs of the ground of that third level, the closet area? I'll show you Exhibit 65.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
this a photograph of the ground of that third level?
Of the carpet area, yes, and the floor.
Okay. And then showing you Exhibit 68. Do you recognize this?
Yes, there's a photograph that was pointed out to me that showed the victim and showed alleged suspect in there.
Okay. And was this female to female the one that you saw at the hospital?
Yes.
Showing, Your Honor, the state moves for admission of state's proposed exhibits 69 and 70.
No objection, Your Honor.
They're admitted.
Do you recognize these?
Yeah, those are a pair of pants that were out there that I took a photo of.
Okay. And you laid them out for the purpose of photography?
Yes.
And showing you exhibit 70, would that be the other side of those pants?
Yes.
The knives that you took photographs of, you recall those?
Yes.
There was the one knife, and then there was the
Knife handle.
knife handle. Okay. On the knife, the full knife itself, did you do any presumptive testing with that knife?
I swabbed the blade for presence of any blood. I did a presumptive test for blood on it.
Okay. And is that standard procedure in the field?
Oh, it's not in the field, I would have done that back at the lab.
Back at the lab. Okay. So let me talk to you. When you get back to the lab, do you take more photographs of the evidence that was collected?
I did.
All right. Your Honor, the state moves for the admission of state's proposed exhibits 14 through 18.
No objection.
They're admitted.
Exhibit 14, you recognize this?
Yes.
Is that the item that was located near the wigs?
Yes, that's the knife that I recovered from there.
Okay. And then you said you did conduct some initial presumptive tests. What tests did you conduct?
I did a called a phenolphthalein test. It's a presumptive test for blood.
And what was the result of that test?
Negative.
You've been trained in conducting those tests?
I have.
Exhibit 15, is that just the reverse side of that?
Yes, it is.
And similarly then on the knife handle, Exhibit 16, do you recognize that?
Yes, that's.
Did you conduct any further testing on that?
No, I did not.
And these are just Exhibit 17. Is that another photo of the knife?
Yes, it is.
Oh, sorry, not the knife, the
The
handle.
knife handle, yes.
Thank you. And Exhibit 18.
That's just another view of it.
Okay. The swab from the cabinet below the sink, did you presumptively tested that for blood also?
Yes.
And did that one come back positive?
Those came back positive.
Okay. And then the
The one on the wall also.
also. Were those the only two blood areas that you retrieved a sample?
Yes.
Your Honor, as previously stated before the last witness, Exhibit 71 through 84 have been admitted.
Right, they're admitted.
All right. When you got back to the lab, other than the knives, did you also take photos of any of the other items that were impounded?
Yes, I did.
What did you take photos of?
The shoe, the receipt, the bottles.
All right. Your Honor, the state moves for the admission of state's proposed exhibits 85 through 90.
No objection.
85 to 90 are admitted.
Thank you. Is this the finger-toed shoe?
Yes,
Okay. And you took one of the back side of that?
I did.
Did you take photos of the water bottles?
I did.
Exhibit 87, is that one of them?
Yes.
Exhibit 88, is that the other?
Yes.
And exhibit, did you also take a photograph of the receipt, both front and back?
Yes.
And the front would be exhibit 89,
Yes.
and the back would be exhibit 90?
Yes.
Of course, it goes. Can I approach your photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, can we approach this briefly?
Yeah. take our lunch break until 1:15. During this recess, you're admonished not to talk or converse among yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected with this trial, or to read, watch, or listen to any report of or commentary on the trial, or any person connected with this trial by any medium of information, including without limitation newspapers, television, the internet, or radio, or to form or express any opinion on any subject connected with this trial until the case is finally submitted to you. See you at 1:15.
All rise.